Gang, it's Thursday, it's March the 28th, and let's do a carb video for this one because it's one of the easiest workouts in recent memory that we could explain. So this is your threshold Thursday, and yet we're a little light on the threshold today. In other words, it's gonna be tough to sprint this one because the time domain is generally longer than what we're used to on a Thursday. In fact, maybe I layer on top of that the fact that there's no built-in rest. Normally we'll be building in rest on a Thursday so that you can maintain recovery and go hard each interval. Today is not like that. Today, the sprint, the threshold work that we're going to be doing today is going to happen within movements, so within sets. These are all movements that you can do sustained without having to take a lot of breaks. And in fact, the one movement, Russian kettlebell swings, if you're having to break up those for more than one time during the sets of 50 or 40, then you have chosen too heavy of a weight, or your grip strength isn't up to par for that loading. And so we need to think along the terms of something that I can move for huge sets today. Again, for the set of 50 and the set of 40, I'm fine with 2 sets. But for the 30, 20, and 10, I gotta know that you have a loading that you might or most likely will be able to do unbroken. That's the way we're gonna get the stimulus, the correct one, out of this workout today. After that, we have sit-ups. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I don't know what an unbroken sit-up looks like. For me, not great. Right? I guess I mean that we're trying not to take specific rests, and yet it's kind of like telling people not to rest on push-ups. It's not quite as bad, but there's gonna get to a point where you can't will yourself to a sit-up if you're too fatigued. And so I guess what I'm saying is try to set a pace on the sit-ups that's going to allow you to sustain for your definition of unbroken, if at all possible. And let that be, if at all, like if we have one, if we can consider it this way, that would be your rest today, the sit-ups. Because right after that, you're gonna get on the bike and you're gonna do 1,000 meters. And I want you to know right away, and hopefully you guys have come to this conclusion already. When it's a distance on the bike, you can and should not be intimidated by that. You should think about it as, maybe just like logistically, think about this. We always double the distance on the bike that we would normally use for a row. So think of a 1,000-meter bike as being more akin to a 500-meter row. But even then, I feel like we're going to be quicker on the bike than we would be the row. So this is not a very long bike, and it's not intended to be. 1,000 meters is not too terribly difficult on a bike. So you should be able to maintain a pretty high speed on that thing. Nothing you're really doing on the bike is going to impact your ability to hold on to the kettlebell immediately following that. So outside of that, whereas the rep scheme today is, we'll call it Annie-ish. We're going 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and the one number that doesn't change is that 1,000 meter bike. So think of it as Russian kettlebell Russian kettlebell Annie, where after each round you are required to do a 1,000 meter bike. This took me about 21 minutes. That's kind of nice on a Thursday. It's a little bit of a different stimulus than we're working with usually, and we'll come back strong with a interval sprint next week. But for today, enjoy. Work on that grip strength a little bit. All right, have fun.